hot step, or the double beat comes from, and originally it was called a double beat, and so it evolved, and some tribes adopted it and turned it into what's called a crow hop, and because they couldn't really emulate the exact double beat the way it's supposed to go, they kind of changed it a little bit or modernized it into the crow hop, which is kind of the same thing. So these young grass dancers, you guys want to come out and do a crow hop? Actually, we can. Whoever wants to come out can do a little bit of a crow hop, and then after that, we'll do my the dance I dance now, which is the prairie chicken. So yeah, young guys, you guys want to show them what a crow hop is, and the drums is going to sing the song.
Thank you. But the way I do it, I learned it from my childhood when I grew up on the reservation and the way we did it back then. So when I moved to California and started dancing out here, there's the different ways that other people had danced this. So I do it the original little skip step that you see me dancing out there. Other people do it the easy way. I call it the lazy way. But sometimes when my legs can't hold up after all night of dancing, I do it the lazy way. That's okay. But this style of dance really takes a toll on you, especially on your legs. My legs are shaking right now. So that's the way I do it, and that's the way I teach the Soaring Eagles dancers how they do it. But they watch somebody else, and so they do it a different way. I express to them, you know, dance the way I taught you. But to each his own. After they learn how to keep in step with the beat, they want to dance that way, that's fine. As long as I get them out there into the dance arena and dancing and sharing our culture. So with that said, I hope you guys noticed the way I was dancing. It was a little two-step, a little skip step that comes from way back. Probably a couple 100 years ago that this started, so that's the way I do it. I'm 64 years old and I still do it that way. All right. Good job, Chuck. Yeah, so that was the crow hop. Yeah, many tribes have adopted the way, have done it and changed it a little bit, like Chuck was saying, and kind of made it easier. But originally, like Chuck was dancing
original style, which is a lot like the Crow style, the original style. And they would slide, kind of slide step, but it would be like you're stepping on hot coals and you lift your knees a little bit higher. The Crow people would dance that way. With that, we're talking about this powwow culture nowadays. It's more of a socialization of people in California. Like I was saying, many tribes in this area, this whole place was occupied by many different tribes. A lot of the tribes, you don't notice that, if you go down to the beach, you don't see the Indians down there, do you? No, because a long time ago, they were pretty much killed off and scared off, and almost killed by not only the Spanish or the Spaniards, but also by the government. The state of California, put a hit out on them. You could say, it was you could get money for scalps, Indian scalps, and so the Indians got scared, even though they occupied this whole area all the way down to the oceans and to the islands. They got scared and they had to scatter. And what few were left, they moved up to the mountains. You see the mountain line area nowadays. You'll see that's where all the casinos are at now, right? You'll have to drive like 1,000,000 miles away from the ocean to get to the casinos in the mountains. And that's where the Indians had to settle to kind of hide away from the Spanish and the California government. And so with that, the story goes, and back then they didn't have this drum here. There's no really record of a drum being down in the Southern California area. There was more of the bird songs, like we showed earlier with Jake. He demonstrated the rattle, and it was here. And it was also a migration story / creation story that was told and proposed by them. And so going back in history, a lot of Indians were being killed off and sent to boarding schools. It was a harsh time for Indian people. Some were promised work up in LA, right? Indians that lived in Oklahoma, Montana, and all of the Midwest, there was promise of work because it was the time that all of our buffalo and the way of the life that we lived was we couldn't live that way no more. A lot of our lands were taken from us, and we grew smaller because of disease. Like I said, the biggest thing that killed the most Indians was disease, not the cavalry, not that we lost to them. We actually won against the cavalry many times, and stories of the Lakota and Sioux people tell of the victory that we had on America, one of the only tribes or nations that have beaten America and won flag. And we carry that flag. Usually you'll notice that powwow is behind our flag, which is the eagle staff, when we come to this center. But the short story is a lot of Indians were moving to LA to beat with the Indians. It was invented by Lincoln long ago. But a long time ago, the Indians would every year during the end of summer, first fall, they would have celebrations, gatherings, and that would be their Thanksgiving. They would give thanks to the food, the animals, the plants. Back then, there was no turkeys. We didn't have turkeys. They would probably have like eel, quail, deer, stuff like that. There was no, biscuits and gravy and stuff like that. That's not the kind of Thanksgiving we did. The original Thanksgiving, they say, was up in the Wampanoag, up in Connecticut area, where they would give thanks for the harvest. And so, like I said, Lincoln changed things away. It was a celebration of the family. Because a lot of time nourishment heals the family with food. And like I was saying, it kind of related a little bit to Thanksgiving, because it's time to give thanks. Me and my son, and I have another nephew, call him, his name's Adrian, but his name is Thunder, or sometimes they call it Tortilla. I guess I'm his little moment.
what, you know, we pieced together from my relatives, my grandpa, grandpas, aunts, uncles, all of us, you know, like I said, there was a time where we almost killed off, and a lot of our information might have been lost. Some tribes even, you know, completely annihilated, all the culture gone, you know, had to relearn their, maybe someone else.